Over the past several years, Apple has had a shift.
Apple, maker of MacBooks and the iPhone, of course, became the first public U.S. company to be valued at $1 trillion.
Apple becoming the first publicly traded company in the world to hit $1 trillion.
13-digit value mark.
$1 trillion.
Apple is worth $1 trillion.
Apple making history as the world's first trillion-dollar company.
From the underdog trying to take down Microsoft to the biggest villain in tech.
Apple's product lineup, particularly their computing products, is really pissing me off.
The tech giant is facing multiple lawsuits after it admitted that it slows down older models.
Why do we hate Apple?
The keyboard was not functioning as expected.
My relationship with Apple is coming to an end.
Dark hate for Apple and their products.
Overpriced, underperforming, lockdown, no user servicing, and the complaints go on and on. So why do people still use Apple products? Frankly put, it's the ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
Apple's ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
The Apple ecosystem.
The Apple ecosystem.
The magic, if you will, about Apple is the ecosystem.
The Apple ecosystem is simple. It is the way that Apple products work and are woven together, meshing tech and lifestyle in a way that no other company has been able to do. There is no fragmentation, and each product does its own thing very well, but when combined with other Apple products, they work even better. The easiest way to explain the Apple ecosystem is that it is easy for people who don't know anything about tech to use. My mom can figure out how to set up a new iPhone with the iCloud backup. My brother can figure out how to set up his new AirPods because it's so seamless and easy. Anybody that just simply follows what Apple tells you to do and how to use their products will be able to use their products to its fullest potential. They make it really easy. They want people to be happy with the product that they purchased, but they also want people to know that it would work a little bit better if they added in an additional product, or they purchased more than just one additional product. Most of the products that Apple makes now is to serve as a tool to enhance the iPhone. The watch makes managing notifications, health and wellness, etc. a little bit easier. Apple Music makes it easy to listen to music. The iPad makes it easier to manage the things that are on your iPhone with a bigger screen. Everything works together, from the App Store to Siri to iMessage to iCloud. The list goes on and on. But that does not mean that it's perfect. For years, consumers have complained about how poorly Apple products work with other products, some sparking debates on whether Apple is a monopoly or they have a monopoly over their own products. But what it comes down to is the merger between software and hardware. Apple has made it really tough to use anything that's not made by Apple when using an Apple product, because it's so much better to use the Apple product than it is to use the competitor's product. They keep you locked in. Let's say you lose your iPhone. Would you rather just buy a new iPhone and just iCloud back it up, and in an hour or so, everything's good to go the exact same way that it was when you lost it? Or would you rather buy an Android phone and have to start from scratch? It's just that simple. When you have an iPhone, it's really easy to stay with an iPhone. When you have an iPad, there's no tablet that compares to it. Same with their watches and even their computers with Time Machine. I believe the problems that most people have with Apple started back when iTunes was released and they started selling music on it back in 2003. It was a different time for Apple. Once a computer giant that had fallen off the rails and was finally starting to get back on track with the release of their colorful iMacs a few years prior. And then they talked to the 5 biggest labels in music, and everything started to change. They were able to sell music on iTunes to use on Apple devices. But it was locked down with the DRM, which is just a digital rights manager, which is just basically fair play is what they called it, which made you only able to listen to the specific music that you purchased on an Apple device. Most people didn't like that very much. And this has slowly made its way and grown bigger and bigger as the years go by. It's maybe not quite as heinous as fair play, but it's very similar in today's Apple, where everything works so well with each other that it's really tough and almost impossible to use a Windows computer if you have an iPad, an iPhone, and an Apple Watch. It just makes sense to get a Mac. Moving from iOS to Android is doable. It's difficult though if you're invested into the Apple ecosystem with iCloud. And moving from Mac to Windows is even more difficult because there's nothing that can use a time machine backup on Windows. The reason people continue to buy Apple products is because they are simple to use. They have built their company differently than other tech companies, not based on silly gimmicks like hand gestures and stylus, but on the way their products enhance your life. They are a lifestyle company first and a tech company second. They do not need you to constantly be on your phone or computer or tablet because they own everything, the OS, the hardware, and even a lot of the apps that you're using, whether it's Apple Music on the iPhone or an iPad, or it's Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro on your Mac. There is no Final Cut Pro on Windows. Building each product to efficiently fit into the ecosystem and try to truly make your experience better and not throwing out products just because they can, like you see with a lot of other companies where they just throw it at the wall, and if it sticks, it sticks, and if it doesn't, it just gets swept under the table. Similar to Google's 6 or 7 different versions of a messaging service. They can't be patient on features that a lot of people deem as super necessary because when they release them, they've been tested and they know that it's going to work well inside of their ecosystem. And people will buy them knowing that it'll make their iPhone better, or their iPad better, or their watch better, or their Mac better, or their HomePod better. Whatever it is, people buy Apple products because it makes their life better and it makes everything work a little bit more efficiently. And when they do develop a product, they don't just nuke it at the knees and make you buy additional products or accessories to make that product actually work. The Microsoft Surface is a perfect example. It's a useless tablet, but a pretty good laptop. Whereas the iPad is a good tablet and could be a good laptop if you buy the keyboard. But it's not necessary to use an iPad. I have an iPad Pro, no keyboard, works well. There are a lot of reasons as to why people continue to use Apple. You can blame them for being super predatory with how locked in their ecosystem is. But really at the end of the day, the locked in ecosystem is a good ecosystem for most people. Most people just, when they get a new phone, want to plug it in, sign into a couple apps, and just let the phone run. They don't want to sit down and have to re-download every single app, find where their pictures are at, lose all their messages, and have a really tough experience. Most people just want the easiest thing possible, and Apple consistently delivers on that. You could hate Apple for the way that they practice business. You could hate Apple for the way that they lock down their ecosystem and the way they make it difficult for everybody to use it. But at the end of the day, the Apple ecosystem is unparalleled and untouched by anybody. It's not just because I own Apple products. I've owned other products before, and I keep coming back to Apple because the ecosystem just works so well together and so efficiently, and it makes my life easier. I don't want my tech to get in the way. I want my tech to benefit my life, and I think that a lot of companies should really learn that from Apple. I'm Scott with Techno Eclipse. If you liked the video, hit subscribe. Check out the Patreon down below to help keep this channel sponsorship free. Also check out the Amazon links down there. You could also help purchase through those and keep this channel sponsorship free. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.